G'day community, welcome to another Alexi Does hobby vlog. It is, I'll give you the real date, it's the 20th of September. It's the middle-ish of September. I want to do these videos around the middle of the month. The 15th's ideal, the 20th's close enough. It was another interrupted month just for various health reasons. That's fine, we move on. Hard to get motivated when that's the case, but it was a brilliant month in terms of when I actually sat down and hobbied. I was like, oh yeah, I actually enjoy this. This is really fun. There's a reason I spend all my time doing this. It makes me happy. So had a bit of hobby done. You'll see those paint jobs in a matter of moments. Got some plans now. We're sort of over the hump in terms of the current project. We can start planning for the next project. I'll talk about that at the desk, but we'll be heading back towards an old project, trying to speed finish it, because that's what you want to do with your hobby. Get through it as quickly as possible. But I had another great month of playing games as well. Played Blood Bowl, played some MESBG with my mate Darcy. First time he's ever played a game like that. First time I've really run one solo, and we got the gist. We got the gist. I got absolutely smashed, which was fine, and it's absolutely a joy to get smashed in tabletop games. Let's head to the desk. Okay, so here we are back at the hobby desk. Now the first thing I'll show you are the few little acquisitions I had this month. I'm gonna wheel them over. Look, these are simply some Forge World Goblin Mercenaries. One of them is a captain. I think it's this bloke. Got these secondhand off Facebook for pretty cheap, and the previous owner, tried to make their own captains, which look fine. So these are a little hint to what the next project will be after I finish the current one. And that is going to be finishing my long-promised Goblin Town army. Now, sadly, this month, again, a little bit of a trip to hospital. Again, we're fine. We're not dying any more than any living organism already is. What it did mean is that the hobby time was limited, but I got inspired when these arrived, and I made about 60 or 70 of these little wooden bases, which is what my Goblin Town get mounted on. The planks for Goblin Town. The next major project after the Warriors of Dunland, or the Army of Dunland, will be finishing these, and that will be learning how to airbrush. Let's get to the meat. Is it meat and potatoes or meat and vegetables? Let's get to the main course of what we've been working on. I can't remember which ones I showed off last month, so we'll just show them off again. Now, these basing schemes aren't finished. Obviously, I need to tough them up. But the reason I haven't done so yet was I've basically been waiting to decide what grass and rocks and skulls and whatnot I would put on there. But these are the Wildmen. I'm pretty happy with them. I honestly can't remember which ones we showed off. There are some slight varying color schemes. You might not even be able to tell in this light. In fact, you probably can't. There are different browns in the mix that make it subtly different. Obviously, the hair on these two guys are different. Can we tell on these models at all? Not really. Basically looks the same, but this one is a warmer brown. These ones are colder brown. I have actually enjoyed painting. Actually, I hated painting the first four. I've enjoyed painting the second group of four, and I'll be very happy once they're done. I'm assuming when we inevitably get new plastic models at the start, at the end of this year, start of next year, that they will be a lot more fun to paint than these guys, or at least a little bit easier. Sometimes the metal just doesn't behave the way you want it to. Sometimes there's little sculpting errors or manufacturing errors that are hard to hide. But all in all, you put them on the table and I'm pretty happy with them. as we return. Again, I don't remember if I showed you these last month, to be honest, and I'm not going to watch the video to find out. These are the Dunland warriors, which there are more of these than the wildmen in my army. I painted these up. They're relatively simple paint jobs, but I do think when you chuck them all down on the table, they look pretty good. I think technically the wildmen or the Dunlands might not actually have sort of red hair, and maybe this hair's a little too blonde for them canonically. Traditionally, they have quite dark hair, and it's the Rohan that have the lighter hair, but I think all in all, we're pretty happy with how they've come up. Next up, we have a couple of quite fiddly models, but very easy models to paint, at least in my experience. These are the Crebain of Dunland. These are the crows, essentially, that spy for Saruman. I did a quick sort of contrast mix wash over the crows on a zenithal. I think it was a light grey over a sort of tan brown. I did a couple of coats on them in the end because it just wasn't quite enough. But I think given how quickly I was able to paint them, sort of in one session really, and how they've come up, they look pretty good. The rocks, I've got a lot of different colours through there. It might not come across, but there's a lot of greens and browns in there, trying to make those rocks more realistic than some of the other ones I've painted in the past. And the trees are pretty standard, sort of pale tree setup. But there we go. Couple of crows to go in the army. Now, I painted up this fella, and this is Thryden Wolfsbane. And I had a lot of issues with this sculpt, and it kind of can't tell now that it's painted, but there was a lot of mold lines, a lot of slippage in this model as the two halves were joined together in the mold. Somehow you can't really tell now that it's painted, but he was a bit of a prick. He was a bit of a prick to deal with. And this is the foot version, which was slightly easier to paint in terms of just the quality of the build. I didn't know what to do with the wolf's eyes. Originally I went black, and then it just looked weird, so I've painted over them as if the eyes are closed. Now, Thryden was a war chief of one of the Dunlanding tribes, and I believe I recently read the Unfinished Tales and all the appendices of the Lord of the Rings again, really getting into my Tolkien stuff. I believe he dies in one of the battles of the Fords of Isen, maybe the second one. Anyway, after Theodred dies in the first battle, which is one of the extended scenes in Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Basically, another battle happens in that turf, and apparently this bloke dies in it. But he's my first leader I've painted for this army. Right. So in terms of this army, this is about 50% of the models, but only 30% of the points. So in Middle-earth, you build an army, each character costs a certain amount of points, and I'm basing this on the current edition. An average battle's probably about 650 points worth of models. I think this is only maybe 250, maybe not even that. It's not much, but it is half of the models. So what I have remaining are 4 wildmen, so 4 more of these blokes. I've got another 6 of these dudes, a banner bearer, a captain, and a leader. 2 blokes on horses, and 2 more leaders. So we're really up. We're pretty close to just sort of the command characters, the chief, the elite, the guys that I probably should spend extra time on. They will be hopefully painted this time next month. Pretty happy with how this has ended up. So there we go. That was the month that was. Make sure you go and watch Jmacc's Armies of Arda. I think that's the name now. I hope it is. Go watch Battle Camper, go watch Beard Clipper, go watch a bunch of... Just go and find some people who make hobby videos and go and give them a comment. Make sure you let them know you're enjoying it. If you want to see more of me, I've been doing pretty regular streams over on the Pommy in Oz channel. That's a football-focused program, an Australian rules football-focused program, so it won't be this sort of stuff, but it will be more of me, more of him. Go and subscribe. I just share the love. Oh, Battle Streams in Middle-earth is back as well, so go and check that out if you want to watch. Well, the last episode was 5 hours. As I record now, there's an episode about to drop as well, a live stream. So that largely helps motivate, get the job done. Having some company, even if it's not live and it's a video of other people painting, gets me motivated, and that's how I get back to the desk. Anyway, that's enough from me. Let's look forward to another good month, boys and girls and everyone. Whatever. Go Blues.